Hey there, how's everyone doing? I'm Christopher Elliott and I'm back, and you are too. I can't believe you made it for another live stream. I've been doing these for the last week and a half, and I have absolutely no idea if they're doing any good, but I'm having so much fun doing them, I have to keep going. So here I am, and I haven't had any caffeine, I promise you. If I did, I'd be talking about twice the speed, when you probably wouldn't even be able to understand anything I'm saying. So here we are. But we've got a lot to talk about today. First of all, wherever you are in the world, I would love to hear from you. So let me know in the comments where you are. And also, today's topic that I really want to talk to you about is luggage cheats. There have been, well, let me start by saying the story that I wrote for Forbes is absolutely on fire. I wrote a story over the weekend that told people how to avoid paying luggage fees. I'm going to go back to that story in just a second and talk a little bit about what I said and why I think it's caught on so much. We've had like tens of thousands of page views on that particular story. And oh, there goes my light. there goes my light again. Okay. Anyway, that's really annoying. Don't do that. Don't do that. Oh my God. All right. Well, it's live streaming, so anything can happen, and anything just did happen. I don't know why it's doing that. Hold on a second. Okay, hopefully that will. Are you serious? Okay, hold that thought. Yeah. All right, well, that's going to have to do. All right, here we are. Well, so I have, is that better? Can you guys see my face? I can hardly see my face. All right. Hal in Boston. Hal, thank you for signing in and being part of the podcast or whatever this is, live stream. We've got David in St. Pete. Hey, David. Nice to see you. And then some from Scotland. Wow, all the way from Scotland. So cool. Hello there. And Christine from Baltimore. Glad you joined us. Beatrice from Tucson, Arizona. Nice. Damien, how are you, Damien? Haven't seen you in a while. Sean over in Cincinnati. Wow, I've got a lot of people here. And Christine says, I see your face. I see my face too. It's just not like really bright, unfortunately. And Damien says, I'm just south of Boston. Okay, close enough, close enough. All right, thanks everyone for joining. This is so cool. I'm glad to have you all here, even though we've had some technical difficulties, but who cares about that? Anyway, so luggage cheats. I wanted to talk a little bit about that because this story that I had in Forbes over the weekend really has struck a nerve, apparently. And the reason why is that airlines are collecting an unprecedented amount of luggage fees from customers. And it is actually a rich vein of revenue for them. They've known about this for a while. They kind of held off during the pandemic. And now that things have started to normalize a little bit and demand is up, they're really clamping down on travelers. And so what we've been hearing, my team and I have been hearing, is that unfortunately that airlines have become much stricter when it comes to not just the checked-in luggage, but the carry-on luggage as well. And I'm going to show you a picture in just a minute that I think you're going to find really astonishing. It is an image from an internal chat with for an airline Facebook group on one of the luggage cheats that they're using. So stick around for that. But we need to talk a little bit about the methods that people are using. So if you're in the chats right now and if you're watching this live, I would love to know not just where you are, but what kind of luggage cheat you have seen in your recent air travels. So have you seen someone try to carry literally a kitchen sink onto the plane? I have not seen that yet, but I've seen people carry some pretty outrageous things onto the aircraft with them in order to avoid checking their luggage in. But given that airlines have now decided that they're going to go after our carry-on luggage, I'd love to know, have you seen people do some crazy things like try to wear their luggage? There are actually vests that allow you to do that. My friend Scott over at Scotty Vest makes these vests that you can wear. You can put things inside them. They're pretty styling, and so you can put things like your computer even into one of these vests, which is really interesting. We got a couple of chats here. Let's see what we got. Yes. Aileen says from Boston. Hey, welcome from Boston. Another Boston person. We've got Jaleel from Washington, D.C. Cool. Nice to see you, Jaleel. And someone from Nigeria. How cool is that? Nigeria, welcome. Good to see you. Another person from Nigeria, Patrick. We've got a Nigerian contingent here. And we have, all right. So Patrick says, we're getting into the tips. Wear a lot of puffer jackets. Okay, yes, the winter jacket is one of my favorite tips to get around all of the unfortunate luggage rules that we've got now. And I actually did use that a couple of days ago when I was flying. They told me that my luggage was too big or way too much. And so I took my winter jacket out, wore it, and put some things inside it. Now, here's the thing that I don't understand really, is that if you're going to do that, it's the same amount of weight, right? It's just apportioned differently. So what's the big deal? And I think that the big deal is really, it's the money. It's the billions of dollars. Let me see if I can find that thing here. Let's see if I can share my screen for a second, and I will find that story, which has all that information in it. Where's the story now? Oh my God, here it is. Okay. So, here's a story that I did for Forbes. You can find it right now on the Forbes website. And unfortunately, the airlines are taking $29 billion per year from us in luggage fees. And now a lot of the luggage fees are for checked baggage. That's nothing new, but we don't know. But we suspect that more and more of that money is coming from carry-on luggage, which is absolutely outrageous. You have people, I mean, certainly there are people who carry way too much luggage on with them, but what we've been hearing is that people are carrying on even a small amount over, and they're being told basically either you abandon your luggage here, you repack, or you pay extra. And sometimes they don't even have a lot. They don't have the money to pay because they're flying on one of these really extra cheap tickets. It's a little bit crazy. And so I wrote this article for Forbes about ways that you can avoid the fees. And then we had this very interesting, Wagner from Brazil. Hey, glad you're with us. And so let's go over to this other thing here and see if we can find that. There's another. This is from an internal chat that someone forwarded to me. So here we go. All right, here it is. Okay. So I don't know if you can see that. Let's see let's see. Okay, yeah, you can see that. Right, so this is one of the hacks that they're using, and it is actually it's called a cross-chest bag, and they're packing it full of things and then taking it onto the plane with them in order to avoid, having to check the bag. Now, ironically, this was on a Southwest Airlines internal board, and Southwest, of course, allows they let you check your luggage for free. It's included in the price of your ticket, but there are other airlines that absolutely do charge you. And so the question that was raised in this particular chat was, is this legit? And so I'm wondering what you're thinking. Is a crossed bag legit? Do you think that should be allowed, or should that be a carry-on bag? I can tell you what my opinion is in a minute, but I would like to know what yours is. So chatters, if you have some kind of an opinion on this, please let me know. Okay, so we have here, Jaleel says, I see people voluntarily gate check the bags because the bins get full fast. Yes. And unfortunately, the bins just are not adequate. And that's one of the problems that we have been running into, is just that there's just not enough space. There's too many people who want to check their bags, or who want to carry their bags as opposed to checking them. And it starts getting very chaotic. The last couple of rows to board are always the ones that are being told, basically, you're going to have to check this. And unfortunately, sometimes the bags that are being checked have a lot of valuables in them. And those valuables can get lost, luggage can get pilfered. So that's a problem as well. Okay, so Damien says that it seems like a purse. Yes, it does look like a purse, but if you look a little bit closer, okay, the guy on the right there, he looks like he might, actually both of them, come to think of it, those guys may be a little bit more than a purse. I don't know. You could really stuff that thing full of at least a change of clothes. So does that count as like a carry-on or a check bag? More like, okay, Damien says more like a personal item. Yeah, I would say it's more of a personal item. So here we have someone saying definitely not a carry-on. I think if I was the one carrying it on, I would say it's a carry-on. It's a carry-on. But they tried to stop me for having a backpack that was like it was not even half a kilo overweight. It was not very heavy. And then, they wanted me to repack it, and it got really messy. So yeah, Damien says, right. And they just keep getting bigger, right? Well, that's the thing, is that they do keep getting bigger. And so the next thing you know, these little tiny bags that you have here are going to be growing to be bigger and bigger and bigger. And that's kind of unfortunate for everyone. I think that, people should be allowed to carry some luggage onto the plane with them. I mean, there was a day not so long ago when you could take what is now considered a checked bag. You could carry that onto the plane and have your laptop. So you would have two personal items with you on the plane with you. And now, you can't even take a carry-on without them looking at you and saying, we're going to charge you extra for it. Christine says, I'm always asked about a third carry-on, and I sat it as a medical device. Okay, yes. Hey, yeah, that's actually okay. Here is a luggage hack. As if you say it's a medical device, they probably will tell you that if it's like a CPAP machine or something like that, they'll tell you that you can carry it on. There are waivers for medical devices, and that you can't check some of the electronics onto the plane, because first of all, the contract of carriage, if you look at the legal agreement between you and the airline, it says we're not going to be responsible for electronics. And so some of these medical devices are very sensitive, and you can't just take those and put them in a luggage hold. They'll get damaged, and that's definitely not what you want. Jalil says, at least the body bag you can cover with a coat. Okay, yeah. When I think of a body bag, I think of like a dead person in a bag. Facebook user, one reason airlines monitor, and let me explain the reason it says Facebook user and we don't have your name. It's a glitch in Facebook. Sorry about that. One reason airlines monitor hand luggage weights is safety. That's true. Always a chance that it will fall out of the overhead bin and hit someone on the head. Airlines definitely need to control hand luggage plus check luggage. I don't disagree. You're not wrong about that. The question really is, there's a line between ensuring safety and monetizing the luggage. And I think right now, especially in this upcoming summer travel season, people are going to be feeling like the airlines have crossed that line from between monitoring for safety and trying to monetize for trying to earn money basically off of your checked and carry-on luggage. And it's the carry-on luggage that really upsets people. It's like, come on, I mean, you're going to charge me for this purse. That's just ridiculous. Wow, we have so many awesome comments. Okay, Christine says, yes, CPAP machine, good to know. Gustavo says, airlines should enforce the abuse by 90% of passengers getting in the airplane with 2 carry-ons, yes. Look, I don't think anyone here is going to disagree with you that people getting on with like 2 full carry-on bags instead of checking a bag, that's a problem. And my experience is that like during the 90s and the early 2000s, if you checked a bag, it might get lost. They didn't have very good tracking equipment. Now they really do. They have, it's like FedEx, you know, they give, every bag has a barcode and a name, and they do a baggage matching, so they know who you are, and they'll find your luggage. So far, knock on wood, none of my luggage has been lost that I've checked. So it's really much more reliable now, something that's almost worth paying for. Arthur says, co-passenger problem arrives at row and places carry-ons under 2 seats. Oh yeah, I hate it when that happens. So airline etiquette question is, does the room under the seat belong to you or the passenger next to you? Answer, it belongs to you. So don't let anyone take up that space. And if they do, kindly ask them to move whatever it is they've got there to their personal space. So yes, absolutely. Let's see here. We've got Patrick says his favorite hack is cargo shorts and trousers. So, you know, you've got like something that you can stuff things into, and maybe, you know, something like bag your clothes. That's absolutely a great hack. Definitely use that. We're talking right now about luggage hacks. So if you have your favorite luggage hack, please let me know in the chats. If you're watching this live, if you're not watching this live, you can always leave a comment, and I always go back to the comments just to check them, and I'll answer there too. Someone agrees with me. I love being agreed with. Thank you very much. But you know, these bags, these new bags that they have, it's really interesting that I mean, I've seen these bags before, but the fact that they're being marketed and used for kind of getting around the airline rules is really interesting to me. And I think we're going to see much more of this in the future, because people are, you know, frankly, they're seeing this too. I think we're at the point now where people are they don't have a problem with paying for a checked bag, even though I think personally it should be included in the price of your airline ticket. But when it comes to paying for the carry-on bag, then I think people are not very pleased with that. They think that that's strictly a money grab, and they're going to try to find any way they can to get around that. I don't blame them. Jaleel wants to know, what about airline credit cards that allow 2 free checked bags? Oh, I'm glad that you mentioned the credit cards. Yes, you can use a credit card. You can apply for one of those affinity cards that allow you to collect points and miles. I have a very different view of points and miles than most people in my business. I think that they're very addictive. Loyalty programs are good, but they're meant for people who are frequent travelers. They're not meant for infrequent travelers. So if you get one of these credit cards and you say, look, wow, I've got 2 free checked bags, you've got to look at the overall cost of that bag, actually of checking the bag. You've got to look at the overall cost of the credit card itself too, because what you're going to be doing is buying more tickets on that airline, putting more purchases on that card because you have that card and you're going to want to be earning points. And so in the end, really, the business, whether it's a hotel or an airline or whatever, is going to win because they're getting more of your dollars, and they're only too happy to give you a free check bag. But unfortunately, you're going to pay for that bag later on. So my advice is that you really do the math before you say, oh yeah, I'm going to get that Delta credit card because I'll get free bags. Because really, you may end up paying more for that credit card than you think that you're paying. And it may have been cheaper if you just decided to pay Delta for and I'm just pulling Delta's name out of thin air, but you might have been able to get it cheaper if you just ended up paying for it out of pocket and used a different credit card, or no credit card at all. How about that? No credit card at all. Wouldn't that be nice if we lived in a world where we didn't have to have credit cards and no credit card debt? Look at the latest credit card debt numbers. People are going crazy on their credit cards. Banks are winning. Consumers are losing. It is not a good place to be. The only people who are winning really are the people who are hacking the credit cards And you know where those people are. They're not to be anywhere here to be found. Maria says, I hear about a pillowcase full of clothes. Ooh, I like that. Yeah. Flight attendants do not really give much thought to a pillow because they think, well, what's a pillow, right? But if you put clothes inside the pillow, I love that idea. That is a little bit of a tricky hack, but I've never heard of someone's pillow getting confiscated. And there's no rule that a pillow has to have fluff inside. So who knows? All right. We've got Chris says, my best hack is checking the luggage rules on all the airlines you'll be flying on. I've had the experience of flying on a US airline with 22 pounds allowed and then going to fly home on a European airline and having to cut my weight in half. I have also had an experience like that, and it is just terrible. You do have to do your homework. Most of the complaints that I get from people involve, not being fully aware of what the rules were. And I admit that I have also done that. I've made assumptions about the luggage rules that ended up not being correct. So that's definitely something to do as well. A good hack for sure. All right. So the takeaway for me from all of this is that really you've got this ability to hack the system right now. You have small bags, you have carry-on wearable luggage that you can put what would have been your carry-ons into. And yeah, absolutely, there's ways around it. But I think that the real solution is just going to be a common sense solution for everyone. And what I mean by that is everyone checks a bag. So I think that there needs to be a mechanism in place for an airline to quote a fare that includes a checked bag, and for you to be able to check that so that when you're like on Google Flights or on Orbitz, you say, yes, I'm checking a bag, and then to see what the fare would be. Removing it, or unbundling as the airlines would call it, is a deceptive act because you think that the price of your ticket is less than it actually is. And that is wrong on so many levels. Sure, airlines have been able to make lots of money, many, many billions of dollars, based on being able to take away a certain aspects of an airfare, but that does not make it right. And so what I would like to see as a solution would be for airlines and GDSs, reservation systems, to all get together and figure out a way of being able to quote a fare that includes a checked bag, maybe some of the other things too. In-flight meals is another good example. And if you want to collect frequent flyer miles, then maybe there ought to be another option for that as well. But certainly, the way that things are going right now, it is very, very deceptive. And now that airlines have started charging for carry-on luggage, now we've really got problems, because who doesn't want to carry something onto the plane with them? And now you're going to charge passengers for that? It's absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely wrong. Airlines have to find a better way of monetizing. I mean, come on, guys. It used to be that you would make money by charging for a ticket. And now airlines are making most of their money with credit cards and loyalty programs. And something is definitely wrong with that. So what I would say is, let's figure out a better way of doing this, a better way of making money. And maybe we can all get through this together. But I am not predicting a very good summer with these new luggage rules that are in place. Things are going to go from bad to worse. And I imagine that I'm going to get many, many, many more complaints. We got another comment here from a Facebook user, and says, I prefer to check my 22-inch bag, but I hate paying to do so. I don't want to have to drag it around or heft it into the overhead bin. I'm an old lady. I go to the airline counter when I arrive at the airport, and I ask whether they will be gate checking on the flight. Okay, that's good advice. They check how full the flight is, and they can usually say yes or no. Then I ask if I can simply gate check it for me at the counter. Usually, yes. This tip was given to me by someone at Alaska Airlines. So this is an inside tip. I love it. Okay, good. We had a lot of really great insider tips for this particular, I don't even know what it's called. Okay, before we get off though, I want to ask you, and maybe you can leave some comments. I don't know what to call this. This is like a live stream podcast type thing. So if you have any ideas about what you want to call this, please let me know. Uh, Again, sorry about the lighting. We'll get that fixed for tomorrow, and have a really great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.